Hey guys, it's Instructor Shane, and welcome to our weekly Dryfire video. I started thinking about it, and I realized that most shooters, when it comes to any kind of proficiency, maybe they just go to the range, maybe they do Dryfire practice, but ultimately, what I see, whether it's the rain or Dryfire practice, they keep doing the same thing over and over and over, expecting different results, right? That's kind of the definition of insanity, doing the same thing over and over again. So I always give my students permission to explore and experience different techniques, different ways of doing things to ultimately see what works best for them. So in my dry fire videos that I have committed to start doing once a week, how could we start working on kind of micro part of our skills to really improve our shooting and things like that? So I always recommend anytime you do dry fire practice, you get yourself either a barrel block or what I call a gun rope, right? These are about $15 on Amazon. I made this gun rope for about, I think, $2. It's a piece of nylon clothesline for drying clothes, and then I put a little red tape on it. So the way each of these work is if I'm using a gun rope, all I'm going to do is ensure my firearm is unloaded. It is unloaded. I drop the rope through the magazine well, and then I go ahead and stick it through the barrel. Right at about here, I shut the slide of the firearm, but this way I ensure I know nothing is in the barrel and nothing can possibly be in the magazine well. If I'm choosing to use a barrel block, go ahead and get rid of that. With a barrel block, we just take our barrel block and just stick it right in the chamber. And it sticks out the front there. That way we know our firearm is clear, there's nothing in the chamber. I like these because it adds a layer of safety to our dry fire practice. Yes, you can do dry fire training with cert pistols or training aids or things like that, but ultimately I really like to use the firearm that I typically carry. And the safest way to do that is do not have any ammunition in your dry fire space. If I don't have to use a magazine for something, I won't use a magazine. And I always make sure I have a barrel block in. So in this week's video, I was on the range with students the other day. We were kind of timing out draw to first shot. How long does it take you knowing it's coming, but from a relaxed position, drawing your firearm out to full presentation, okay? So I sat there and I started getting times of how long does that take your typical student right now being new students. So then I had this epiphany of, I talk about it in our CCW class, posturing, blading your stance, getting your hand on your gun, giving verbal commands, things like that. So what I ended up doing is having them start with the hand on the gun, drawing the first shot. And, we ended up doing the same timer thing. And most every student cut their time in half if they started with a proper grip on the gun, okay? So this week's dry fire video, working on our draw stroke, there's no speed involved. All I want us to be doing is clearing that garment, getting a full firing grip on the gun, okay? And I know body shapes are different sizes, hands are different sizes, guns are different sizes. So for me, I typically, when I go to my gun, because I wear a back brace most days, I will get a full grip on the gun, but I will leave my thumb on the back plate until I start drawing and building my grip. If you can, try to get that full firing grip here with the thumb around. But if you can't, just leave it on the back plate on your draw. So all we're going to do this week is really work nice and easy, drawing our garment, getting our hand on a gun, and getting a proper textile marker in getting a proper grip on that gun, which is consistent, right? And most of you have heard my gas pedal, brake pedal mentality, right? So all we're going to do is work at getting that proper grip, nice and easy, okay? As you gain more competence in getting that grip on that gun, now we can start adding speed, right? We can start working on different concepts of getting my hand just to the gun, okay? Now, some people like to come down on the gun. Some people like to come up on the gun. Explore and experience what works best for you. And, some considerations is, because I carry at 3 o'clock, because I carry appendix, there might be better positioning. I know for me in appendix, I like kind of putting my hands together and do kind of hands down at kind of my waist, right? Where this isn't threatening to anyone, but it's very quick to get my hand on my gun. But as you just saw, I got my garment in my grip, right? So remember, in practice in dry fire, there's mulligans, there's do-overs. But let's just practice this week of just getting our hand on the firearm. Hope you guys have some good dry fire practice this week, and we'll see you guys next week.